What's up, internet land? It's the coolest cannapreneur in the world, Vincent Owens. And look, today I want to talk about a topic that is super, super important, all right, especially to all my leaders, to all of my CEOs out there, to all of my entrepreneurs, right? Now, we all know that there's laws that governs the universe, right? There's plenty of laws that govern the universe, but there's one specific law in leadership that I want to talk about today. Now, there's going to be a series. I'm going to start talking about the laws of leadership a little bit and diving into them for my people that is not, necessarily reading this book. Now, this book right here, I'm not done with it yet. This is my first time reading it, but going through this book right now has been completely life-changing. Now, this book is called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. And it talks about the 21 laws of leadership that every leader needs, right? Every CEO needs, every person that wants to influence others to either work with them or work for them and do an amazing job, right? So you need these laws to be successful, all right? So today, I want to talk about the law of magnetism, right? The law of magnetism, right? So in the law of magnetism, it simply states, you attract who you are, right? You attract who you are. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So what does that mean? Well, there's certain characteristics, all right, that you need as an entrepreneur. There's certain characteristics that you need as a leader of a certain organization or a company in order for other people to not only follow you, but also for you to be able to attract the right people around you, right? You gotta have the right vibe, all right? And today we're gonna talk about the 7 characteristics or the 7 vibes that you need to attract that tribe, right? That $1 million tribe that it is that you've always wanted, right? And so, again, there's 7 key characteristics that we're gonna talk about, all right? The 7 are generation, right? Generation, your attitude, right? Your background, values, your energy, your giftedness, and your leadership ability, all right? So just because you're not, so what you have to do first is you got to go and think about all of these, right? Now you got to think about the people that it is that you want to attract, right? So I want to talk about in the first page of this book, before we went further, the first thing that John Maxwell actually had us do was he said you had to write down the qualities, right? Write down the qualities of the people that you want to attract, right? And so when I wrote down my qualities, for instance, I said, I'm looking for natural leaders, people who are teachable and coachable, people who are professional and loyal, right? Ambitious, self-starters, right? Have high energy, entrepreneurial, right? People who are millennials, right? Educated, goal-driven, team-oriented, have a positive mental attitude, and are hungry. Guys, this was before I wrote these down, before I even read the chapters to understand that there were characteristics that governed the law of magnetism, all right? And so then he said, once you write down the characteristics that you're looking for, the qualities that you're looking for, now what he wants you to do is go back and check them off. And if you have a check sign, that means that you're closer to attracting that person. If you have a X next to that quality, that means that that's something that you need to work on. So guys, I want to encourage each and every one of my leaders, each and every one of my business owners out there to do the exact same thing with this 7 characteristics or these 7 vibes that you need to attract the perfect tribe, right? And so as we go through this, I want you to write all 7 down, and I want you to check and see, is this something that is these characteristics who you are? And if they are, and if you like the characteristics, then look at your organization and see, is it a reflection of you? And if it reflects something different, then you got to be completely honest. You got to let your ego go, and you got to correct that characteristic, all right? So it's a challenge, but it's going to be very fun, all right? So number 1, we're going to go into generation. Now, we attract people who are in the same age range as us, right? Like for me, I'm 27 years old. Majority of the people that come into the business that I'm a part of, trading, foreign exchange, network marketing, right? Even the cannabis industry, most of the people that I've attracted, most of the people that I've worked with are within that millennial age, right? Because again, we attract in a generational characteristic, right? We attract who it is. So think about, for example, think about the dot-com boom, right? When the dot-com boom first happened, everybody who was in leadership roles were in their early to mid 20s, right? So that means that what? They hired on in their department, even in the company, they hired on people that were around the same age range. Because remember, your age range, generational, that's who you relate to, right? I wouldn't relate to someone who's 75, even though I can, right? I wouldn't relate to someone who's 18 right now, right? Because I've already been there, done that. And I know that there's certain things that they have to go through in life, maturity levels, that's going to get them to the next level, right? So I'm looking for people who are around my age. So that's number one, generational characteristics. Characteristic number two is your attitude. Positive mental attitude. Do you have a positive mental attitude about life, or do you have a negative mental attitude about life, right? So you attract similar attitudes. This is one of the most contagious characteristics of the seven. The reason why is because, look, whoever it is, if you have a positive attitude, positive people are going to want to naturally be around you, right? Think about it. A positive person doesn't want to be around a negative person. It would drive them crazy. Like today, right? I've been practicing personal development every single day for damn near a whole year straight. All right. I can't stand when I get around people who really don't understand personal development. Not that I can't stand it, but because it's a certain tolerance level that I have now for certain things. Everybody is not allowed to talk to me because most people, we live in a negative world. So most people talk negative things. I can't hear that. I can't hear that. I can't hear your negativity. So guess what I do? I chuck the deuces and I walk away. No need to argue, no need to be upset about it. It is what it is, right? Same thing for negative people. Negative people love drama. They love negative things. That's why they watch, they're always on social media looking at what the celebrities are doing, right? Because they love gossip, okay? So another thing is a negative or a positive attitude, people in that environment can actually conform. They can actually become like that environment with time. So be very careful with your environment, all right? Number three is your background, right? Background is very important. Think about it. A blue-collar worker would probably hang out with blue-collar workers, right? A doctor, like my doctor friends out there, all of my doctor friends on Instagram, right? From Meharry and Ohio State and different places that went to school, they tend to hang out with each other. They seem to be more social with each other. Why? Because of the level of education. People who are more educated hang out with educated people. Think about races, right? People who are of a certain race usually are attracted to people of that certain race, right? So background is very important. And I want to talk about an example. Think about the NFL. Before the NFL created the law where coaches in the NFL, in the interview phase, right, the owner had to interview coaches, right? You have to interview the coach to hire the coach, right? But they came out with a law in the NFL to be able to allow for basically the same, not hiring the same race. So a black person, an African American, they have to have some type of diversity in the interview process. So with that being said, NFL coaches or owners had to at least have one African American coach in the interview phase. That means that now more successful black coaches started to rise up. That's the way it happened. But before that, guys, background. Law of magnetism is the background, right? They attract who looks like them, right? Not anything to do with racism. It's the law of magnetism, all right? Number four is values. Guys, we are attracted, right, to leaders with similar values. Think about Martin Luther King. He had very, very positive values. He had very, very, high values, right? High value system person. So think about the people that were around him, right? Talking about the Rosa Parks, talking about the Jesse Jacksons, right? You're talking about all of the top African American leaders of the civil rights movement, and even white leaders as well. Why? Because he had values of all people being created equal. He wanted people to be, that was his dream, right? And people who saw that similar dream, saw that similar vision, they were automatically attracted to those values. So that was the positive. The same thing with negative. Adolf Hitler, right? Super negative guy, great leader, right? But he used his leadership abilities for the wrong reasons. And so you could see what happened in that country, right? Then you have energy. Yo, high versus low energy. My mentor told me high energy equals high income. So with me, I have very high energy. So the people who come into my organization, the people who are attracted to me are not low energy people. Because why? Because low energy people look at high energy people. When you put them together, they look at low energy people, look at high energy people as insane, right? And then high energy people look at low energy people as lazy, as lazy. So you got to have your energy level to the point where it is that you want to attract. It's up to you. It's completely up to you and how you want to build your organization. All right? If you have a whole lot of lazy people, but you want to be high energy, well, guess what? It's because you're probably not high energy. You probably have low energy most of the time. That means you attract that. All right? Number 6 is giftedness. People don't want to follow mediocre people, right? You don't go to a job to follow a mediocre leader. You want to find a boss, right? People don't go, athletes don't join the NFL to follow a freaking weak coach, right? No, they want a dynamic coach. They want a Phil Jackson. Kobe, Michael Jordan, they knew that Phil Jackson was a leader. Don Rivers is a leader. That's why the best players are attracted to the best coaches because of what? The giftedness characteristic within the law of magnetism, right? Very natural. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about leadership ability, right? Guys, you attract, if you're trying to be a leader, you have to raise your leadership lid, right? You have to raise your leadership lid. If your leadership lid is at a level 3, you can only attract level 1 and level 2 leaders. If your leadership lid is at a level 8, you can attract level 7 and 6. More than likely, you'll attract 6 and 7s as an 8. You won't attract 1s, 2s, and 3s because people relate to what? The people that they're most closest to. You feel comfortable around the people that you're most close to, all right? So the law of leadership says that basically, look, if you want to attract better leaders, you got to focus on yourself first because people don't follow someone who's weaker than them. People want to follow someone who's stronger than them, someone who has the results that they want, all right? So again, guys, hopefully you wrote down these 7. You'll be honest with yourself on these characteristics, right? And you have the law of magnetism down to a T because this is what's going to get you to the next level, all right, guys? So remember, it's the coolest cannapreneur in the world, all right? And we'll see y'all at the beaches and the banks of the world. Because remember, the bottom's getting way too crowded and the top has enough room for everybody. Let's get it.